In this video, I'm swapping from the Rover 75. This project has ground to a halt due to the need to acquire spares, but Rita is in progress. The alternator job has begun, and I'm going to switch to Elly the 2CV. She's making a strange clonking noise from this wheel, I think it is. So can I find out why that is? At this point, I must declare I've already done the job and actually discovered that the microphone wasn't working right at the end of the piece, just as I was wrapping up. So that all went very Hubnut. So I'm going to have to do some talking over the work we did. But stage one was to jack her up, and you have to jack up a 2CV quite a long way, it turns out. But slotting the jack in underneath, I tend to jack right where the axle bolts are on the chassis. It's a good strong part of the car. Jack her up after cracking the wheel nuts off, of course, and then I could get the wheel off. And when I had the wheel off, that's when I discovered that there's a problem with the seam of the wheel. As you can see in this footage, the seam bubbles up, water gets in, corrosion. Even though these wheels were, I think 2 of them were brand new when I had them powder coated and 2 were not, and I had them stripped, powder coated, were a few years down the line, and they've gone to crap front and rear. The rear one's also rusty. So my solution this time round, this is a short-term solution, or as we call them on Hubnut, long-term solutions, was to actually hammer those seams flat. And by hammering them, you're just pushing them back in again, but eventually these wheels get to the stage they start leaking water through that joint. You can put them on the back, but then they tend to just go flat. So at some point I'm going to have to treat Elly to some new wheels, and I think I will go for a brand new set and then paint them myself. I'm not going to bother powder coating, because powder coating just goes wrong, it seems. But the bumpers have been powder coated. They've both got rusty bits, so that means moisture's getting in, that gets behind the powder coating. It's all terrible. Ask anyone who owns a TVR Griffith or Chimera from the age when TVR powder coated their chassis. Ask them how good powder coating is. It does lengthen the life of products, but once water gets in, chaos reigns. But yeah, she's back on the ground. We've got the job done, and hopefully she'll now be a bit better. I'll give you some other updates on Elly the 2CV, specifically windscreen wipers. You'll note the driver's wiper is sitting a little proud, a little higher up. I've had to do that to make sure it clears enough of my side of the windscreen. I don't like the aesthetic, but that's probably because she's wearing the wiper arms they fitted to left-hand drive 2CVs. These are off a German 2CV. So they should be sort of nice and low at the bottom of the screen, which is perfect for left-hand drive, but leaves a huge chunk here not swept at all. You can see that on the 720 BMW powered, no, it's not a BMW powered, it's a 720 VGS 2CV I drove recently. Huge area here, unswept. Doesn't matter because it's left-hand drive. Right-hand drive 2CVs had straight arms rather than these cranked ones, and they parked on this side initially, which is actually right in your line of sight. There are some 2CVs that failed the MOT for that, even though that's how they left the factory. When I got Elly, she'd already been corrected to left-hand parking, and I fitted these wiper arms during her first restoration to make her look how I wanted to. But I must admit, it doesn't look quite so good when you've got the wiper this high up. But the wipers are working well, they're parking properly. They're not going over centre because I fitted that rubber pipe, so that's all working. That's all good. So she's feeling a lot better in many ways. Other members of the fleet hiding around the corner here. Woohoo! We've got Myrtle the Matiz, who hasn't moved for the past week because Elly's been in use instead. So I'm tempted to leave Elly here and take Myrtle home today. The Daihatsu is still smoky on occasion and absolutely fine on other times. So yeah, it's not cured, but it is better. The other morning I had to start the Daihatsu up. It was quite frosty. I needed to get a bit of heat in the engine, so I raised the revs to about 2000 to try and encourage the heater to de-ice and demist her. That was awful. There was smoke everywhere. I was very embarrassed. But if you don't do that, it's generally fine. Driving along, might notice the occasional puff if you work the engine really hard, but it soon clears. So yeah, she is what it is. It isn't fixed, it is better. Foxanne, no progress. Tuck, you'll have seen, recently ran. Haven't done any progress on her either, and I can't really at the moment because it's all a bit tight in the lockup. I'll show you. So to get Rita in and actually leave some working space, she's ended up quite tight in here. Tuck is pretty much against Vasana up there. There's not much space here either. And I was going to shoot a mailbag today, but then realised that all the stuff is in the back of Foxanne and I can't actually get to her because, yeah, that's quite close. Yeah, thank you to Miss Hubnut for guiding me in just enough to avoid hitting any of the cars. That was good, but I can't do mailbag at the moment. That's going to have to wait for another day. It's not a bad idea really, because Miss Hubnut hates missing out on a mailbag. But yeah, Rita did drive in here today, and we're just waiting tools so I can carry on with this job. I'm not loving it at all. Oh my gosh, it is just such a pig to work on. Transverse engines, and the fact they seem to put them in right up against the side so you just can't get at anything. Oh dear. I'm reminded my previous, well, it wasn't my previous, a previous Rover, the 45 V6. My friend did the timing belt change on that before I bought it, and that did not look fun at all. I mean, for a start, there's 3 timing belts on a KV6. Blur. But I think I'm going to give Elly a wash because she looks like she desperately needs one. So I'm going to fire you up into the time lapse and we'll see how this works. Oh, I don't know if it's just because it's cold water, but it doesn't seem to be taking much dirt off. So I'm going to chuck a kettle of hot water in and see if that improves matters. Oh, there we go. She's looking much better, from a distance at least. She doesn't bear closer examination. Oh, shut up. Struggling to maintain pressure in the pressure washer. But yeah, she's looking a lot better for that. I've got wax in quite a lot of places, but I'd rather have the wax than a perfect finish, to be honest. So there we go. I think we can wrap that one up. Elly has had some love, and that is all from Hubnut for now. Waiting for tools for the Rover, so hopefully I'll be able to crack on with that soon. And so generally, yeah, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you in a future video. So you see how she's starting, just because we can.